room, my bunker.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. That's Roberto Cruz's mantra. As a proud Marine veteran, he's got a room full of memorabilia to prove it. What initially began as a creative outlet, now a source of pride and joy.
Right there, that's me.
His 7 years in the Marines dates back to the 60s.
That was in Disneyland before going to Vietnam.
Roberto, born in Puerto Rico and raised in New York City, was just one of 7 Latinos in his unit of more than 300 Marines.
And we stuck together. The blacks had their clique, the whites had their cliques, we had our cliques.
At age 75, he still remembers clearly his 13 months in Vietnam from 1967 to 1968.
The minute we got off the plane, we see all this shooting up in Marble Mountain. And I said, that's where we're going? Yes, that's where you're going.
One of the scariest moments came during the Tet Offensive, when North Vietnam coordinated more than 100 attacks on cities and outposts in South Vietnam.
The Tet Offensive wasn't a game of paintball. I mean, they were shooting at us and we were shooting at them.
But in the midst of all that fighting, there was one glimmer of hope. An ad featuring service members in the local newspaper attracted letters from a pen pal back home in New York.
There were 2 pictures in the Spanish paper. There was his picture and another fellow. I chose the other fellow because he was better looking.
She wrote to my friend, and my friend said, Roberto, you want to write to this girl? I can't write because I'm leaving in 3 weeks. And I said, I can't write to another girl. I'm already writing to 38 girls. So I started writing to her.
And so began their friendship. 11 months of letters back and forth. Maria struck by his manners and perfect spelling. Roberto struck by, well, her photo.
They're just friendship letters. Hey, what are you doing? And he would tell me what was going on there. And sometimes I was sad to know that I couldn't see him or I didn't know him.
But that was about to change. Once he returned home, Roberto was anxious to meet the ladies he'd been writing to. So in August of 1968, he showed up on Maria's doorstep.
Her mother calls her back and said, that's the guy that was writing to you from Vietnam. So she comes to the door, opens the door. She's got this massive head of hair and rollers. She's wearing a robe.
I was happy to see him, firstly, in person, and not knowing how tall he was, I always aimed for tall, dark, and handsome, but I didn't get tall, dark, and handsome.
She got short, dark, and handsome.
The couple tied the knot in December of that year, 5 months after Roberto's first visit home.
That was 53 years ago.
53 years, 2 children, and 4 grandchildren later, Maria and Roberto are still going strong. And he still has that photo that first caught his attention, along with the 38 others.
Instead of a black book, it's an orange book. Firstly, I had no idea that this book existed till years later. He showed me, and I was one of the harems. I did not know that this picture would even be there because this picture was sent for his eyes only. But now, everybody sees it.
And while the couple can look back and laugh now, they say there was a time when the flashbacks from Vietnam sent Roberto into a spiral of addiction.
I was doing a lot of drinking then. Every time I was having a lot of flashbacks. He'll tell you a lot of times I would wake up from the bed, I was sweating bullets.
It's been 15 years since those dark days filled with nightmares and drinking. Roberto now credits his family, the camaraderie among his fellow vets, and his room full of mementos for helping him get sober.
And I said, as soon as I have my own room, I can start putting up some of the stuff.
As for their love story, Maria says it's their mutual respect that's kept them together all these years.
He is still my best friend. He is the love of my life. I've never had to look anywhere else.
From the halls of Montezuma to the
More than half a lifetime later, the memories and Marine Hem still a source of pride.
We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Hoorah! Semper Fi!
For Carolina Impact, I'm Sarah Colon Harris reporting.
We hope you enjoyed the story. If you don't want to miss any more great stories about the Charlotte region, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.